I think they would go right to the Super Bowl again today. Today's NFL is all about offense, and that's what the Bills team was. Again, the no huddle, running gun, and they had all the Hall of Fame players on their team. Uh, they would have strived in this NFL today. They would have went to the playoffs. And to the Super Bowl.
The Buffalo Bills teams of the early 1990s were a force to be reckoned with. They made it to the Super Bowl in 4 straight years, starting in 91 and ending in 94. But sadly, they never won the big game. Longtime Bills fan Ralph Provost recalls Buffalo's glory days.
I think it's Jim Kelly first. He came from the WFL, World Football League, and he came from the Houston team. And their head coach was Mouse Davis, and they had a run and shoot offense. And he took that and brought it to Buffalo, and he introduced the no-huddle offense, and with Thurman Thomas, another key person in the backfield, great runner, and he also could catch the ball coming out of the run. So there was 2 options with one player. James Lofton is one of the best wide receivers in the league, another key person because they could throw it deep at any time. And then, of course, they had the Hall of Famer, this year's Hall of Famer, Andre Reed, who was the guy that went down the middle or got the 9 or 10 yards, and he was like Wes Welker of today. He was fabulous. And then on defense, of course, you have Bruce Smith, also a Hall of Famer. So those 5 or 6 guys, along with Marv Levy as head coach, is what I'll remember on those 4 teams. Well, the actual day of the game, you get so hyped up because they're on a winning streak, winning all the playoff games, had a good year during the regular season, and you really think they're going to win every year that they were in it. And then really disappointed when they didn't win, especially the first year when Scott Norwood missed the field goal to win the game at the end of regulation. And then you felt bad, but then afterwards you think, wow, this team is really good to make it to the Super Bowl. And every year as they made it to the Super Bowl, you knew that this team was something special. Well, that's a tough question. They should have won the first Super Bowl. The other 3 games that they played, I really think they had a good chance against Washington. The 2 against the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys was a lot better team with Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, and Emmitt Smith. Those are all Hall of Famers, and the Bills are all Hall of Famers. It's just the Cowboys were a lot better. I think the first 2 they should have won, and for some reason they didn't. I really don't know why. Maybe they should have been a little bit better on defense, the defensive backs, the safeties. The special teams were outstanding with Steve Tasker. So they were a great all-around team. Lacked a little bit on defense, and maybe that was just enough for them not to win a Super Bowl. Out of the 4 Super Bowl losses, they were really not in the 3 of them. But the first one against the New York Giants, they marched down the field with just a few seconds left to go on the clock, and they did it perfect with their no-huddle offense. They got there and just enough time, I think just 3 or 4 seconds left on the clock. Scott Norwood, a real good field goal kicker. You just knew he was going to make it. The ball was snapped perfect. Norwood looked at it and kicked it and wasn't blocked. That's the first thing I thought of. And then wide right. And man, I'm telling you, I was sick to my stomach. I didn't want to go to work the next day. I was so upset about that because they actually had beaten the Giants. And then, of course, if you didn't like Bill Parcells, he's on the other side jumping up and down, all 350 pounds of him. So that really pissed you off.